Christmas, oh my God, it's nearing. What am I to do? I said. Then I covered up my head, prayed for sleep for 2 more months until this holy mess is over. Wasn't that lucky? Turned on the TV, Beanie Babies on the news. Biggest selling gift this year. What's a tired Jew to do? So TV off, tried to escape. Called my friend from Silver Lake, said to meet on Fairfax for some coffee and a Google. Talked about our fear and dread of tinsel lights and parties. Suddenly, like a bad dream, Fairfax was transformed into a holiday paradise. Everywhere was Hanukkah, shiny, sparkly blue and white. Isn't this a little soon? I got up quick, ran to the mall before my pain got any worse. What a stupid thing to do. I'm a sitting duck in Santa's zoo. Suddenly, I couldn't walk, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move. Children running everywhere, screaming, "'Tis the season." But I think I'll miss this one this year. Merry Christmas, but I think I'll miss this one this year. Merry Christmas, I think I'll miss this one this year. Merry Christmas, I think I'll miss this one this year. December 1st, the pins have gone. Thought about Adam's Hanukkah song. He forgot to mention me. That's okay, his song was better. Photograph on Santa's lap. I'm over my fear of shopping. Bought gifts for all my Goyim friends. 1 for each, not 8. Sorting cards from all my friends. Sweet of them to take the time. 1 pile for all the Christmas cards from friends who just don't get it yet. Hanukkah day on overload. I just can't stop eating. I've had so many latke that my toilet is gonna explode. Thought I'd walk it off, and so I walked to the Kabbalah Center just to kill some time. I thought I spotted Madonna. Christmas Day, Hanukkah's done. Woke up feeling funny, 'cause I have lost half my hair and I have spent all of my money. What's a Jew to do today? LA is a ghost town. Looks just like another year of movies and Chinese food. Then suddenly I laughed and laughed, caught on to what was happening. Christmas magic's brought this tale to a very happy ending. One this year. Merry Christmas, I couldn't miss this one this year. Merry Christmas, I wouldn't miss this one this year. Merry Christmas, I wouldn't miss this one this year. Merry Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear,
it's Erik Nagel.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of It's Erik Nagel, and that is me, Erik Nagel, your host, and joined by my co-host, Matt OG.
Hello, sir.
Geek Stuff OG on the Twitter and the Instagram.
That's
I am
correct.
Erock Radio on the Twitter and the Instagram. And back by popular demand, by one guy on Twitter, is our friend Gittles.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
So
I'm pretty
what's
good.
his
How are
name?
you?
Mike's. He's got
Mike,
the Kool-Aid
he's the Kool-Aider.
symbol. Yeah.
How can you not like him?
Well, Mike, your holiday wish has been answered as Gittles has come back for the final show.
I'm the gift that keeps on giving.
It's true.
Final live show, not the final show, but the final live show of 2014, the year of our Lord, Gittles. And
I'm sorry, everyone.
in case you didn't know, he's Jewish. But next week we'll have some stuff. Which should we plug now or plug a little late? No, I'll plug it now.
You've mentioned it, so you kind of have to do it now.
Right
Next
into it.
week, which would be the 27th.
Yes.
We will have. It's an interview show. So we have Kristen Ritter,
right,
who's going to be in. You may know her as Jane, a.k.a. Apology Girl, on Breaking Bad.
Right.
And The Bee in Apartment 23, if you watch that TV show that used to be on ABC. She's in promoting the Big Eyes, sorry,
right.
not The Big Eye, Big Eyes, which is a new Tim Burton film, which doesn't look or appear like a Tim Burton film, but it's about the history of the artist Keane.
Yes.
Right.
Interesting.
It's a great story. The story
husband
behind
and
it is
wife
great.
dilemma, if you will.
He's a fraud.
Yeah.
Did I just give it away?
Well, no, it's a true story, so you didn't give much away. Lincoln was
Spoiler
shot. So she'll be in to promote that. We'll also talk to Richard Armitage.
Sure.
Armitage.
Like the watch?
Right. If you don't know
Is
who
the watch
he is.
Armitage?
I don't
That
know.
sounds very douchey.
I have no idea.
All right.
Arbitron. He's what's his name in the Hobbit?
Is he Thorin?
Thorin. That is Thorin.
Oakenshield.
He is Thorin in The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, which is out now. You can see him in that. He was also the lead, if you saw Into the Storm, the tornado movie that was just out.
Oh, I
did
missed
not.
that. I really wanted to see that.
I have a digital copy if you like.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Was it as much of a train wreck as it looked like?
Look, the one scene I loved was a fire tornado.
I'm sold.
Outside of that, I didn't really care.
If there are no sharks, I'm not in.
Yeah, seriously.
So he'll be on the show, and also Saffron Burrows. If you don't know who she is, she was the lead in Deep Blue Sea.
That's right.
If you remember that movie, which is, I guess it's a big cult movie. It used to be the
Is it
movie
a
to
cult
make
movie?
It used to be the movie that everyone
I don't
liked to
think
make
it's a cult
fun
movie.
of. But no, there's people that really love this movie.
Was that the one LL Cool J was
Yeah.
in?
No, that's just the one with Sam Jackson in it.
Yeah, no, this she was the lead in that, but she has a show called Mozart in the Jungle with
Right.
Malcolm McDowell, which starts on the 23rd on Amazon Prime, which I saw the first few episodes. Malcolm McDowell's really good in this show.
She was also on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right, for a
earlier
little bit.
for a little couple episodes.
And that was killed off.
Yeah, well, it happens.
And
Spoiler
that-
alert.
But they'll come back at some point, I'm sure. 866-969-1969 is the phone number if you want to call in. We're going the distance. Today, we're just shooting the shit. We have a couple of things planned, nothing really too serious.
Chitty chatty.
After
Chitty
last
chatty.
week's show, how are we going to top that? The big Opie Surprise Show and Craft Beer Show.
We went from craft beers and chips to delicious looking donuts.
Yes, this was a nice surprise from... Where's this place in Brooklyn?
Yeah, this is a Peter Pan Donut Shop.
Right.
It's in Greenpoint, and they have the best donuts ever. So I brought a whole bunch for all three of us to eat a dozen of them.
I have some sort of ridiculous looking red velvet crumb cake thing I'm going to eat the shit out of. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's red velvet cake stuffed donut.
Yeah, that looks delicious. That's
pretty
a
good.
problem right there.
Has the trend of cupcakes being the hot item passed? Is it done?
I feel like it's...
Crumbs went out of business and then sort of came back without
They
their
went.
full menu.
They thought they were like really big in the cupcake world, but you know what? It just wasn't. They weren't pushing the sprinkles as much as they thought.
Were they the cake boss of the cupcake world?
Yeah, I think they were.
They got pulled over for DUI too?
Well, those do look delicious. Adrian and Lewis are also here, our sort of staff, I guess. if you wanna call them.
Hello.
And they're welcome to come in and have some of these things. There's also some Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, fuck these
stuff
donuts.
there. Okay, Roland too.
They're pedestrian, those donuts.
Too pedestrian.
Rolling.
No, we went down when we usually get here. We park downstairs at the building, and then across the street is a Dunkin' Donuts, which usually isn't too busy. We'll go over there and get some stuff and bring it up. We were waiting in a line out on the street to get into this tiny little hole in the wall Dunkin' Donuts that nobody really goes to, and it was very aggravating.
Well, it's like Radio City, 3 days before Christmas? 4
Right.
days before.
It's,
It's a madhouse out
Times
here, dude.
Square, because for those who don't know, SiriusXM is in the Rockefeller Center portion of Times Square, and everything else is around here. Broadway is around here. Radio City Music Hall, like you said. Across the street is NBC and the Today Show on ground level.
Yep.
Across the street, this direction is Fox live on the floor. Down one or two buildings is SNY, which is also live on the floor, so people can stop in and see. The ice skating rink is there. Of course, the Christmas tree is there, and there's just no way of getting around people around this time of year.
No, what was particularly annoying was everybody stopping to stare up at the Empire State Building.
Oh, right. This is the new, right. This is the new thing too. They replaced the lights on the Empire State Building with LED screens, so that it just makes it easier to color coordinate the building. Look, if you're not in New York City or have never visited New York City, what they do is pretty much every night they coordinate the color scheme of the building to match something that's going on in the world or in the country or even in New York City. Like it's pink all month for October, for the breast cancer stuff. As I remember it, the big Simpsons anniversary they had, the whole building was yellow. When the Yankees win, it's blue and white. And the Mets actually try to do something, it's blue and orange.
Lots of colors.
And when it's Hanukkah, it's blue and white too, Eric.
Right, but you don't know that. Oh, yes,
No,
you
I
do. You do. Sorry about that. So they do all this stuff, but now it's LED. That is a seizure waiting to happen because it was a light show. It wasn't just like lights or a pattern. It was going nuts like a strobe light. Everybody stopped to look at this thing. And I just want to see people drop to the ground from having a seizure.
Seeing as how we have a gentleman who is Jewish in the studio, can I ask you a question about something that I think is offensive, but maybe it's just me being mamby-pamby?
Go for it,
You know,
man.
there's Elf on a Shelf, right?
Yeah.
So Elf on a Shelf is not really offensive. It's kind of stupid, but it's not offensive. It's fairly generic, holiday spirit. However, there's a counter product for the Jewish children.
Yes.
Was it Mensch on a Bench?
Ugh.
Have you seen this?
It's
No.
I have a photo up on my Instagram at Erock Radio.
Mensch on the bench.
Mensch
Yeah.
on a bench. It looks kind of. Is it a rabbi? What is it?
It's just I want to say it's a cliche old Jewish man with a beard.
Yeah, he's got like the scarf around his neck, right? With the symbols from the Torah
I'm
or
trying to
whatever.
find
on
mention
it.
of
That's
bench.
just so stupid.
Here it is, and it's got a paper cutout of. I'm trying to
I
see it. Here
feel
it
like
is. It's
this is.
loading.
I feel like this is somehow offensive.
Here, I'll show.
But I'm not quite sure.
Look at this.
That's actually kind of funny.
I mean, it's funny.
Look at that guy. He's such a mensch.
Would that be considered offensive to the Jewish people?
Wow.
I mean, I
I don't
guess
get
not
offended by
CBS
anything.
It's got a
selling
big
it, so-
paper push-out cutout, if you want, of a menorah that will stand next to your mensch on a bench. Can I ask what a mensch is?
It's that guy.
Yeah, but like, what is it in Jewish terms?
Dude,
Like,
Eric, you know the last time I did something Jewish was my bar
Is
mitzvah
it-
like 20 years
isn't
ago.
a
I
mensch
don't
like-
know.
you're a bad Jew.
I know. I ate bacon and shrimp the other day.
Isn't that like a nice guy, like a
That's
good
right, you do
guy?
participate
you're
in
such
those
a mensch.
bacon
Isn't that
competitions.
isn't that kind of what it is? Like a good guy, a nice guy, a pal, maybe, kind of something along
Yeah,
those
let's
lines?
go with that.
All right, I could be wrong.
I thought he was a guy that would complain a lot.
I mean,
Just the way he looks.
No, that's,
he looks like he's a guy
kvetch or
that's
something,
who's
isn't it?
trying to tell you what to do all the time.
And I want to know what happened to Hanukkah Harry. Did he get pushed
That
out
was a
by the
Saturday
mensch
Night
on the
Live
bench?
sketch.
Hanukkah Harry was the Jew who you knew.
Oh, okay.
The mensch on a bench.
Adrian, you know what it is?
A mensch is a person of integrity and honor.
Oh, there you go. That guy doesn't look like he
He
has
looks
honor.
like he's judging and complaining about your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Maybe he is.
He probably is.
All right,
Pretty sure
well,
it just means an old Jewish person. Oh, no.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it's
There you go.
sold only in Jewish areas of the country. Like it's down in Florida and it's up here.
It's all over around here. I saw it in Target. I saw it in Walmart. CVS, I think, has it.
Let's
I've
hear
never
from
heard of any
Oklahoma
of
and
this
Iowa.
stuff.
Let's see if it's out there. Tell me if you found mention a bench, and it seems to only be in Target. I wonder if it's a Target
maybe
exclusive
I didn't see
deal.
it in
or...
CVS. I thought I saw it in CVS. I know I saw it in Target.
Oh,
I
you
saw it
did?
yesterday.
Okay,
I
so
thought
maybe
I saw
it
it
is
in
other
CVS,
stores.
but maybe I could be wrong.
Well, if you're around the country, if you see mensch on a bench, don't do anything anti-Semitic to it. Just, just tell us if you see it, and that's all you have to do.
Or just take a picture of a Jewish guy on a bench.
I want to see Mensch on a bench have a throwdown with Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah.
It is the holiday time. The song that we played at the beginning of the show might be a little confusing. It's a cover of Christmas Rapping by the Waitresses, but it's done by Save Ferris, and it's about a Jewish girl.
Sure.
So they took it upon themselves to make it their own, and thought it was a good song to play here. Holiday season is going on, and since you're not really fully practicing, that's going to eliminate a lot of the questions that I have about the Hanukkah season, which we are already in. What are we in, day 4, 5?
Sure.
I have no
Dude,
idea.
I'm the worst Jew ever. You know that, Eric.
All right, so we're somewhere halfway up the menorah, and
Halfway up the menorah? I don't think it works that way either.
Halfway
and,
across the menorah.
Yeah,
is
halfway
more like
across
it.
up.
no, I'm visualizing it like the cliff in Price is Right where the guy's going up yodeling.
The yodeler?
Yeah. And at the 8th day, you get all your presents, and he falls off the
He just
cliff.
falls off.
Right. So you're not doing anything?
Nah, I haven't really done too much. My dad's out of town, and I might just make a bunch of food and have people over. I was thinking of making potato latke waffles.
Oh, potato latkes are good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. One of my favorite stories is the only time I've actually been to a Seder. It was at your house.
At my house, yeah.
And
I was like, 14 at the time,
Right.
something like that.
And in the Jewish tradition, your family passes around items that symbolize certain points in the Jewish culture, hardships and things they've overcome and what have you. And one of the pieces that you pass around is an actual horseradish root.
Yeah, like a big chunk. My dad grew it in the backyard.
What's the story behind that?
What, the horseradish?
You gotta at least know the basics.
No, it's bitter. It's bitter. It's supposed to be like...
No, but what's the story as far as why they pass it around? What was it from?
Dude.
Oh my God.
Dude, you should have told me to prep Jewish heritage shit before I came on, man. You told me to look up podcasts I like. You didn't say it was going to be an interrogation of Jewish people here.
Jewish stuff is not on the prep sheet at all.
We're going full-blown Jew here.
Oh,
Midnight
Jesus.
Mass is on there, however.
I know, Midnight Mass. I see.
Right. Well, no, I was just curious to hear the story about it, but the point of it was...
Seder is Passover, isn't it?
You're not even getting the right holidays.
It's the wrong time of year.
Oh, yeah, it is Passover.
You get the wrong holidays, man.
I should have read up on it.
Yeah.
Well, to finish the story... they pass it around, and I didn't know you weren't supposed to eat it.
No, you're supposed to eat it. It's just people who aren't Jewish tend to kind of skip it at the Seder. But Erik decided to take the biggest piece ever. It was like a piece of white chocolate. It was huge, and he just stuck it in his mouth and ate it.
I bit into it like a carrot.
And my dad just looked at me. He's like, "Wow, I've never seen anyone do that at a Seder before."
I think your grandmother was there too.
Oh yeah,
and she said she's never seen anybody in the history of your family doing this actually take a bite out of it.
He was trying to impress the Jews.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I like horseradish. I didn't know
Good
that
for you.
It's forbidden root.
Oh, Jesus.
Forbidden root.
Anyway, so Christmas time's here.
Carried a watermelon.
Yes, that was not racist. Christmas time's here. You finished with all your shopping and all the nonsense that goes with it.
I start my shopping like over the summer.
Right.
Because I have a kid and he wants far too much shit. So if I wait until the last minute, I'll go broke. But yeah, I've been done shopping. I little bitty things here and there. But for the most part, I've been done for a couple weeks now.
Right. I've been doing it and then putting it off because I've had a lot to do around here. We're taking Monday's our last live show for Opie and Jimmy, and then we're off until January 5th. So there's a lot to do around here as far as vacation programming and specials and what have you. So I tried to do some stuff online, and then some of the stuff doesn't show up online. Like apparently the website sales don't coordinate to what the department store sales have. So if you try to buy something, they say, oh, go to the department store, and the department store say, we've never had it, and it's just fucking confusing. But one of the nice things about waiting a little longer to not doing all your shopping is they panic, and they cut sales like amazingly, you get an amazing discount on some of these things. And some of the stuff I was out of luck, couldn't buy, but a lot of this stuff, Macy's. We'll talk about Macy's here for a second. Macy's loves when a guy walks into the store because they will try to give you everything next to nothing because they're just happy that a guy walked into the store.
Sure, really? you're an untapped demographic somehow.
Right. So if you go in shopping for anything female, all those coupons that they give you for 20% off or $50 off a $200 purchase, stuff like that, doesn't apply to a lot of female stuff. But if you buy stuff for yourself, you're getting it next to nothing. And then they throw codes at you that they didn't even tell you about. And if you use your Macy's credit card, you get another 10% off. So something that was like $200 is you're now getting for $30.
Do you have a Macy's credit card, Erik?
I do.
I know you do.
That's how he gets his fancy socks and dress slacks.
That was the first credit card I ever had. And that built up my amazing credit history, which sucks.
Did you ever go to the one on 34th Street and ride the wooden escalator?
I just did that the other day.
Was it fun?
No.
No, it's not.
It's all rickety. It's as terrifying as riding a wooden roller coaster.
I was going to say, it's like riding a wooden roller coaster.
I know people love that. I don't get it.
Oh, I love a good wooden roller coaster.
I hate roller coasters to begin with, but I want to ride something current and new that I know that's locked into that track.
No, the fact that I could fall out of the seat or the car could fall off of the track at any moment is really what makes it exciting.
Those are the ones I want you to go on.
Yeah,
I'm down it.
For me, I'm riding on the one that kind of just goes in a figure 8.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm good. Ground level.
Dueling Dragons is Eric's...
But
those little, like, snap-together tracks.
Right. Oh, what, slot cars?
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss slot cars. I want to get in them. They don't make those anymore, do they? Because they work technically shitty presents to get, but
I
used to have a bunch of slot cars.
So I'm just I'm not ready for slot car talk. I'm just letting you know.
All right, what about the Hot Wheels then? The stunt sets.
Now the Hot
big
Wheels
orange
I can
tracks.
handle.
Oh, the launcher thing, you'd have like the thing you hit it and it shoots.
And it shoots off,
Yeah.
Do the loop-de-loop. And now you can buy the cool thing about those now is like you could buy multiple sets and they all link together like Legos.
Yeah, and they have like spinning things on it, so like the car will hit it and just keep going. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like just keeps getting boosts of energy.
We got to go. We have a celebrity caller.
Ooh.
Oh, no, we don't. It's Rich Voss. Hi, Rich Voss. How are you?
Jesus.
You know how much of a loser this show can make you feel? When you call up, when you call and the screener goes, "What would you like to say, sir?" I go, "Just shut up and give him my name, okay?" What did you drag him in today, like from a pretzel stand and say, "Hey, do you want to be the producer?" Like, at least have somebody know me there.
Why didn't you call the warm line, Rich?
The what?
Why don't you call the hotline?
Oh, you're right. That's a good point. It's too much easier. Now, do you think this is kind of a scummy move for Christmas? Like, Bonnie's up in Canada, right?
Right.
And she ordered, 4, hot curler, a hot curler set, right?
Okay.
So it came today, but I took out a box and I wrapped it and said it's from me, right? Okay. So I'll go. She'll go. I ordered that. I go. Get the fuck out of here. I'll just make her believe hers never came. You know what I mean?
So
and I
just
got her the same thing.
Just attribute it to like-minded thinking.
Unbelievable, right? Because I knew she needed curlers, and I go, holy shit, I got them. And then I'll tell her to call Jill and say, you know what I mean?
I'd argue that's brilliant.
That is a brilliant move.
That's a really smart idea.
Bravo to you, Rich.
Yeah, well, because I know she wanted it, because she ordered it herself.
You can't go wrong.
Did you at least get your kids something?
No, I got everybody. Well, I only got my daughters. I get my littlest one the most stuff.
Right, and that's the important thing.
And then the other ones, I just give them Bloomingdale gift cards,
autographed copy of your CD. Yeah,
yeah. Well, yeah. A lot of people get that. So I go to Bloomingdale's and I get 3 gift cards. They come in little boxes. They put them in.
Right.
I spent, $400 right there. I go, can you wrap them? Little boxes, and they go, that's $10. I go, I just spent $400 fucking dollars. and I almost said, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to Macy's. Then I realized they're the same company, so I just walked out. You know what I mean? No one cares about customer. Anyhow, I'm not complaining. I'm in New York. I'm just saying you guys sound good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Are you on your way to a gig now, or do you have the night off?
Well, I've been off since Tuesday because I've been sick. So I'm working tonight at the stand, and then I'm going to fly to L.A. for 2 days.
Ooh. For what?
I'm going to play golf 2 days, but I want to get just for my miles to go from gold to premium. I need this trip to put me over the top. The platinum status.
Does Los Angeles have anything to do with the TV show that you're shooting?
No, but the pilot. We finished the pilot,
right?
And they love it. So who knows? I mean, really, there was a lot of bending from both sides. So we're pretty happy because they like the tone of the show. So if they like the tone, jokes and bits, whatever, you could always work. You know what I mean? You could argue over that. It's the tone that you really hope they like.
Right.
So they sent the person from True that pushed the pilot so far is extremely happy. Now she has to get 2 more people to say yes. So I've been in these. I had a pilot once. I'll tell you this real quick. Bonnie and I had a pilot, and I probably told this story on radio. 9-10 years ago, we had one, and we were going to get a lot of money back. And we were getting $22,000 a piece per episode, and that's a lot of money for cable 9-10 years ago. And the pilot was really probably one of the best ones I've ever done. I was so excited. A week before our wedding, my manager calls me and says it's not picked up. Now I'm at my fucking wedding so depressed, everybody goes, what's wrong with him? What's wrong? He doesn't want to get married. And, my wife's going, it's hard for her to explain to a bunch of farmers that a pilot wasn't picked up. But,
on the happiest day of your life.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here at 22,000. I was spending the goddamn money. I'm not bullshit.
Right.
You know. So this one, I'm leaning 60-40 in our favor this time. Instead of, a 50-50. I'm thinking a little more in our favor, maybe 70-30. So we'll see. Whatever.
And how's the movie doing on iTunes? Women Aren't Funny.
It's funny. I get a call. I get an email from the distributor saying, I have great news for you guys. iTunes for a week is going to put it in top movies of the year and let it go for 99 cents. And I'm thinking, why is that good fucking news?
That's more exposure, but less money for purchasing the movie.
Yeah, but I guess because we're almost done with it's always going to be on iTunes, but we're going to Netflix, I think, in January. So.
Putting your film on the front page of Netflix is going to do you a lot better than the front page of iTunes, I think.
Oh yeah.
Well, if we get it on front page, we'll see the heat it creates. Hopefully, it'll get front page.
Well, you got to push for it. When you, I don't know if you finished your deal with Netflix or everything, but if you really push for it, they'll put it on the front page for the release week.
Well, the distributor will have to do that, and we have enough radio, to promote it, throughout the country.
Yeah, but look, I'm not knocking, the radio stuff is definitely a big help, but I'm also saying that shows up on Netflix really gets a huge push. Like, it's unreal now, the power that Netflix wields.
No. Once Netflix finds out our promotion, power, they'll put it on. It'll make it easier for us to get on the front page. You see what I mean? It's not like, they're going, well, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If our distributor said to Netflix, look, you got to get this on the front page, he's still going to be blasting it everywhere. Boom. And then it gets on the front page.
All right. Rich Vos will definitely, either be on or call into Opie and Jimmy when the launch date is ready for Netflix, which I'm excited about because you're going to get so much attention being on the front page of Netflix there. And it is a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, go over to iTunes now. Women Aren't Funny, Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane, and download it for yourself.
I'm going to check that out.
Well, listen, you guys have good, happy holidays and all that shit, and you sound great. You really do.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. Come in sometime. We're moving to Fridays next year, so maybe that's a little easier.
Well, you know what? I can't really think of anything worse.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Happy holidays, Rich.
If I'm in town, I would love to. But good luck, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, Rich.
Happy holidays.
That was nice, Rich Voss, to call in.
That was lovely.
I think now he's been on every show on the channel now, officially.
He
has nothing else to do.
No, he's a big talk radio listener, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Rich. We're going to take a break in a second, Adrian, so if you want to get that ready here. Also, before we go to break, I hate to do it on a down note, but it's all over the news, and it's nationwide now. A few hours ago, before we went on the air in Brooklyn, 2 NYPD officers were shot in their patrol car in the head.
Terrible.
Execution style.
Lunatic.
And, it's horrible, especially, it's not bad enough that, somebody dies that way, but especially going into the holidays, these officers may have had families and kids and what have you, and the person who shot them shot himself.
Right.
Shortly right after it there.
And I think he killed 2 other people in Baltimore, right?
That part I didn't know. You were telling me that right before we went on the air there.
Yeah, I think he killed 2 other people in Baltimore before coming up to
I think it was he was a wanted fugitive from yesterday or something like that.
Yeah.
From the news stories I've been reading, but I mean, who knows what the truth is going to come out.
And did he post something on Instagram too?
Yeah, he was posting pictures of the gun that he used and saying that he was going to kill
bloody clothes
or something.
After he got shot, someone said he posted this is all hearsay. I haven't seen that. I've seen the pictures of the gun and him in the camouflage pants, but I didn't see the bloody one.
Well, in true fashion of the internet, if you look up stuff about this news story, any of the hashtags that are trending or what have you, you get a whole group of people who are dancing around celebrating that the evil police department down a couple more, which is horrible to think about, and they're tying it into the protests from Eric Garner and such, and I don't know. Well, we don't know too much about the shooter right now. I don't think he was tied. I know he's dead, but I don't think he was tied into any of the movement.
No, I think he was just a lunatic.
Crazy guy.
I think he was a crazy guy who was just latching onto it.
Right.
Because, I mean, he'd already killed other people, and then to come up to New York.
But I'm saying I don't think he was doing it in the name of the movement that
but he
that's
said
been
he
going
was.
on. He did?
Yeah.
I think he...
No, he totally said he was.
He made some reference to it. I believe, again,
from
this
what,
is like
from what I read.
Yeah, from what we've read, but he made some reference to Erik to Ferguson. I think
to Ferguson. Okay.
He said to Ferguson and Garner.
So
Jesus,
but who knows? It'll develop over the next couple days. You know, by Monday you'll know more.
My fear is that this is going to start some kind of trend, because when you don't even have the mayor of New York backing the police department, which he's in charge of,
right?
Being the mayor of New York, and he's blaming a lot of this stuff on the fault of the police department. He's supposed to, you're not supposed to, accept some of these actions that maybe the cops do, but you're not supposed to condemn the entire department and say, distance yourself from it. Like they're scumbags and they're evil and they're not worth, the money that they're being paid or not being paid in some cases. That's my concern here. Is I'm thinking, I hope this doesn't start some copycat stuff and get a trend rolling where it's okay to start abusing cops when they're out on the streets, throwing shit at them, and worse in this case here.
I don't know. I just think it all depends on, as the facts come out. I mean, I think a one-off person who already killed a bunch of people and then came up and just, I think it's a much different situation. I don't think there was any, people from the community that were doing this. I mean, this was just some random dude who was already killing
isolated
people.
in its own way.
I think this is a very isolated in its own way incident, but I think it's also going to have severe repercussions.
It has to.
Yeah.
Because where do you put, you got to put your foot down somewhere saying, look, this isn't helping any kind of, there's a lot of racial tension going on. So if this isn't helping any of the race relations and trying to keep the peace and getting people back on the same page, when you have one-offs like this, which could potentially spark something bigger. I'm hoping it doesn't, but it could. And if it's doing it, like you just said, the news is saying that it's in the name of these movements, you're going to get other people who, just like in Ferguson, who said, oh, you're throwing rocks to that building, you're burning that building, I'm going to do it too just because we can. I don't want to see that happen, and this is a horrible thing to happen right before the holidays. Even if it wasn't before the holidays, totally horrible. But at least for me, I don't know about you guys, but I feel horrible for the NYPD and the families of these two gentlemen that were killed.
Yeah, absolutely. What you need, I think, is from the protest movements and some of the other leaders in the community to come out and condemn this kind of behavior and say, listen, we're protesting. Obviously, there were injustices that we feel like we need to be vocal about. Whether or not you agree they were injustices, they're injustices we feel we need to be vocal about. However, we're not condoning this. If you see that, I think that'll hopefully squash. But if you don't see that, then
I've already seen that already coming out. So I mean, that stuff has already come out. Al Sharpton was on TV 20 minutes after it happened, saying that this was not us. And I'm like, whatever, dude. But
yeah, well, right. Al Sharpton's
saying it, but whatever, but the people are
but look, as shitty as Al Sharpton is, the fact that he did that is definitely a positive decision to make to kind of squash. Look, people just want to rally and want to join the bandwagon or something, and I hate to throw this, and I'm not making a joke about it, but you know how the Simpsons exaggerate when one thing happens. The joke is that it cuts in, that the whole town turns into a mob and starts destroying something.
Right.
And this could potentially happen if these little one-off things are happening and people think it's okay to start doing this because there's really not going to be too much punishment. We're going to get a lot of media attention. And that was one of the first things that popped in my head, that this could be bad. I mean, really bad.
Yeah,
going into the future.
I was in the city last Saturday, and I didn't even realize that all the protests and stuff were going on. Right. And I ended up at an intersection where the SantaCon protest was running into the protesters from the the police protest, and I was waiting for some crazy stuff to happen. But everyone was really peaceful. I mean, it was kind of. So that's why this was kind of shocking today. I didn't know that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Even when I was down there where those rallies were, it was very peaceful by the people. No one was yelling at cops. No one was doing any of that.
This guy was a lunatic, and whether he lumped himself into a cause or not, I really do think it was isolated. I hope it was isolated.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to see anybody lose their lives.
No one does.
And on either side of the fence. So
yeah.
All right, well, that's all we can say about it right now. I just felt we should address it since, it was something that happened here in New York and quickly became a nationwide story.
Right.
So it was only fair that we talk about it a little bit here. So let's take a break. Let's reset and come back to some more pleasant things if we can. 866-969-1969 is the phone number. We'll be right back.
It's Erik Nagel. Erik Nagel.
It's hard to stay up, it's been a long, long day, and you got the Sandman at the door. But hang on, leave the TV on, and let's do it anyway. It's okay, you can always sleep through work tomorrow, okay? Hey, hey, tomorrow's just your future yesterday. Tear the cork off the wall, forget the wake-up call, 'cause the night's not nearly through. Wipe the sleep from your eyes, give yourself a surprise. Let your worries wait another day. And if you stay too late at the bar, at least you made it out this far. So make up your mind and say, let's do it anyway. It's okay, you can always sleep through work tomorrow, okay? Hey, hey, tomorrow's just your future yesterday. Life's too short to worry about the things that you can live without. And I regret to say the morning light is hours away. The world could be such a bright, but it belongs to us tonight. What's the point of going to bed? It looks so lonely when your eyes fall in.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. 866-969-1969 is the phone number. If you're not familiar with this song here, this is the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson theme that he wrote, recorded himself. This is the full version. And I play that because the show is over now. Not ours, but his. It just ended yesterday. And look, I guess it's one of those shows that were hit and miss. I love the show.
Sure.
I watched it for almost all of the 10 years that it was on. And it was a weird show. It was a bizarre show. And you got to give kudos to CBS for hiring a foreigner to do late night television in America. And I think he really pulled it off very well. And I was actually really sad to see the show go. The last night's episode was the intro was really cool. He had that whole drum corps thing going on. Can't remember the damn song. I'll look it up in a second.
He always had the greatest intros. Like
He
the
did.
intros, like the puppets.
Because he
and,
started
like,
cold.
Yeah, it was
like
so
Letterman
great.
would be done, and you'd see Worldwide Pants, and then it would just fade from black, and there he was. No full intro. He was just doing something dumb or with puppets when he went
Lots
through
of
the puppet
puppets.
phase, and then doing musical videos with the puppets.
Yeah.
And he had I guess he had a staffer that was dressed in chaps and bondage outfit who would come out there and dance all the time. And
It was a really great show. I was working nights for a while, and when I'd be like loading tapes in to the system, I have nothing else to do, so I would just pop on the TV and watch Craig Ferguson at night. And it was always really funny. I liked how irreverent it was. You never knew what was going to happen, but I don't know. It was just a really fun show. I'm not a big talk show person, but I really enjoyed it.
one of my favorite things that he did was if you're not familiar with Craig Ferguson, he'll come out during his monologue portion and he'll say, "It's a great day for America, everybody." And while the audience is applauding, he would smack the side of the camera a few times and they'd play a sound effect like he's hitting something really heavy.
Right.
So he did it once, and this particular time, the glass fell off the camera. So he smacked it and walked backwards, and all of a sudden, boom, it just won. And then he's sitting there like holding his head, freaking out. You can find it on YouTube. And then they did an alternate angle from a security camera that watches the studio when they're not taping and everything. And you just see he smacks the camera, and as he moves back, the glass just in slow motion falls onto the stage and shoots
Shatters.
everywhere. Obviously a visual, but it was one of my favorite moments on the show. And then he had a co-host that was a robot made by Grant from Mythbusters.
Yeah, from Mythbusters.
That originally had some weird kind of voice, and then they got his comic friend and writer to start voicing it from the back.
Yeah.
Named Jeff Peterson, the name of the robot. But it's a definitely great show. You can go on YouTube and Google a whole bunch of stuff. Just
Michael Caine in space.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. He used to do Sean Connery stories.
Yeah.
And it was just because he could say shitting all the time.
Yeah.
But it will be missed. I was a big fan of Craig Ferguson, and I knew of him, and like a lot of people, if you knew who he was from the Drew Carey show, he was Mr. Wick, and a lot of people didn't know who he was at all because they never saw the Drew Carey show. And to be that accepted as a foreigner in the United States and hosting late night was a feat in and of itself, and so he will be missed. And now we have James Corden coming in, right?
Correct, James Corden.
And we talked a little bit about him last week.
We did.
A lot of people don't know who he is.
I have no idea who that is.
He's a British actor, performer, jack of all trades, kind of.
He's a little bit of everything. He's a writer, producer, comedian, actor.
What stuff has he done that I may know him from?
Well, a lot of his stuff was a lot of his BBC stuff. His biggest thing was Gavin and Stacey, which was a huge hit over there.
Okay,
which I mistook on the car ride, by the way, for Ned and Stacey,
the Thomas
Hayden Church, vehicle that didn't last long on Fox.
He wrote, produced, and starred in that. And then he's done a bunch of Broadway shows. He actually won a Tony last year or 2 years ago for One Man, Two Governors. It was like a one-man show where he played like every role in the show. Yeah, he's actually a really talented actor. He's hosted a couple of those. If you ever watched like actual television in London or England, when I was over there, I went over there a couple years ago, I was amazed by how every other show is a panel show. Like some sort of panel show hosted by comedians. Like Stephen Fry hosts a bunch of them.
Jeffrey Ross is not the comedian here in the United States, but there's a host, and I guess he's a comic over in the UK too. Jeffrey Ross does a big show over there. He also hosted this. Did you see the Penn and Teller?
Oh, Fool Us?
Fool Us show?
Yeah, that show was great.
He was the host of that show as well.
Yeah, that was a great show.
But his show is over there. Over there is huge. Graham Norton.
Right.
Is another huge show that's and theirs is seasonal. It's not every night like the United States has. They do it in seasons, just like they do their TV shows in short seasons.
That's kind of interesting.
But they'll have like 6 weeks worth of top-notch guests, which Roland told me that they pay for. Like, they spend thousands of dollars to get all these celebrities over there on these shows.
Well, I mean, if you're only doing a couple episodes for a season, you can afford to do that.
Right. I guess so. I guess that's where the budget is. But the Graham Norton show, which I think is like the top entertainment-based talk show that's over there and that comes out of there, they spend so much money, but then on a couch they'll have Will Smith and Tom Cruise, and maybe Dave Grohl will be there, or Chris Martin from Coldplay. Like it's an eclectic panel, but they spend so much money for it. But I guess it works.
Sure.
I don't think that would ever fly here. I mean, they tried running the Graham Norton show on Comedy Central, called So Graham Norton.
Doesn't it?
Not on Comedy Central. No, it's on BBC America.
BBC America?
But they air the actual British versions that air over there will air on BBC America. They did a different version where he shot it here in New York on Comedy Central, and it lasted one season, and I guess Americans just really didn't figure it out.
Well, so when they do it over there, is it like a nightly thing for the season, or is it like once a week during the season type thing?
No, it's a nightly thing.
No, it's not.
It's a weekly.
I think it's weekly.
It is a weekly.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's like similar to like the John Oliver show type thing, like once a week on like a Sunday type
Yeah, but
season.
I think they tape on a game show schedule. Like,
so
I think they'll tape maybe
a
couple at a time.
Yeah. Okay.
Get them all out of the way because they're there to promote movies and things like that. They're not really talking about too much current news.
Well, on some of the panel shows that are just kind of like silliness, kind of like it's more like like the Jeselnik Offensive. Remember that show?
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
So there's
it got canceled though. I think, right?
But there's a bunch of panel shows that are just like that, where it's sort of topical, but not entirely. It's not just celebrities, and it's talking about all sorts of different things. And you'll notice after you watch enough of them that like the same guests are on like 4 or 5 episodes. So they must be shooting them in a block. They pick a Monday and they shoot all day, but back to James Corden. He actually hosted a show called The League of Their Own that was a sports comedy show. So he's got a little bit of an experience for sure doing some sort of like hosting panel type.
See, that was my concern, because really to do any kind of show that involves long form, and it's not written, like long form discussion, you need to have these hosting abilities or be a comedian. Because usually those are the guys,
things.
Right? And I didn't realize he hosted the sports show until you told me earlier. Because before I thought you're just hiring a performer, so it's like hiring somebody from Saturday Night Live to do a talk show.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Late Night with Seth Meyers.
I never found him
tried
funny.
so
as a
hard.
performer, I never found him funny.
I never found him funny.
As a writer, I'm okay
I
with
found him as yes, he was a great writer, and he still is a great writer, and he was good with Weekend Update stuff. But and Gittles knows I've been going to late night since I was 14 and lying to go because you're supposed to be 16 to go. But I would go with my parents and stuff and to see Letterman, and then I saw Conan, and then I saw Fallon, and I love the late night program, and I just can't get around Seth Meyers on late night, and there's no buzz.
That sucks.
There's not even website. Like, if there was no public buzz, but there was a website presence where he did a bit or a skit or something like that, and it was all over the internet, okay, it's still working out, like Conan does. You don't hear many people talking about Conan, but once in a while he has some videos online that go all over the place.
Yeah, he does that like almost every day. Like the Conan channel is always posting.
But you never hear people saying, I watch.
Yeah, me too. I didn't.
You never hear people saying, I watch it on TBS, but they'll say, did you see the video of Conan and Ice Cube and Kevin Hart driving around? And it goes crazy through that. There's nothing for Seth Meyers.
I'm telling you, until you mentioned it earlier tonight again when we were talking, I didn't even realize he was still on.
Yeah, I didn't think he was still on either.
I thought it was over, so that tells you.
At this point, I don't think there's any way to really compete with Fallon and The Tonight Show. It's just too big a monster.
It's a juggernaut. And
we'll see how Stephen Colbert does when he takes over for Letterman.
I think Colbert will do pretty well. He can hold his own. He's really quick on his feet.
I'm hoping so, but I've been reading some stuff too where people are really concerned because he's not doing the Colbert character. And a lot of people who are thinking you're getting the Colbert character as a late show.
How do you judge it though? You're judging it before seeing the product. Like, I think a lot of people are concerned because they know what they think it's going to be, but no one knows what it's actually going to be until it starts. So this is to me, this is just a different type of internet hate.
What were you telling me about the stuff with Fallon? Remember before Fallon started?
I think when Fallon started, when it was announced that Fallon was taking over the show, there was not a lot of positive vibe on the internet. There was a lot of people that were saying, "Oh, he's a hack. He's not funny.
And
How is this guy going to host a show?" And Fallon was he was pretty popular. You know, I mean, I know someone's going to say, "Oh, he was only pretty popular." Yeah, he was pretty popular. Like, a lot of people knew him, but it was still kind of niche in its own.
It wasn't with
way.
Saturday Night Live, but he was putting out those songs.
Right.
Yeah. That Bad Boyfriend song, the disco thing, had a video that went viral, and that Car Wash for Peace.
But I remember reading all of this like vitriol against the guy, like, "Oh, it's gonna suck. This guy's no time." And now look at him. I mean, he's again. You can't stop him at this point. It's crazy. So good for him. And I think Colbert will be fine.
I think Colbert's going to be fine. I think anyone who thinks that he's going to be bringing that character over and then are surprised when he doesn't are just stupid. Like, sorry, if you don't understand that, like, he was a character on that show and that you don't get it.
But the important part to realize about that character is that I'm sure a lot of that character was still very fast wit. Just good writing, good skills in general. Yeah, it'll be different. It's going to be him, the person, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. We'll
I think it's going to be a huge success.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
I'm not worried. I was definitely one of those people on the that you were talking about with the Jimmy Fallon, because I never thought he was that funny. I didn't think he was that great on Saturday Night Live. And when they put him on for the Late Show, I was like, I'll see how it is. And I watched a couple episodes, like, you know what? This guy's pretty good as a host. He's not that bad.
He keeps it moving. It's very light. It doesn't get too serious. And the bits that he's doing that celebrities are agreeing to, which is amazing, because
like
you've never
the lip sync battles or whatever. I mean, they're silly but
and the karaoke contests and to see some of these big celebrity, from TV and movie and stuff like that coming in there, and they're doing like a go-kart race around where they got to hit a golf ball with a golf club while they're driving a go-kart. It's like, you never saw this stuff on Leno, or they never thought to do it.
Right.
But I think it was a different world back then, where right now Fallon's no disrespect to David Letterman, but the only game in town, really.
But I have a recollection of Letterman doing a lot more goofy stuff in the early days.
I remember him doing a lot more stuff like that.
He did, but
he got away from it after a while.
Right.
He got older and he didn't want to do it anymore. Fallon brought
He used to give out
back.
canned hams.
Yeah.
He'd just go out to the audience. He's like, who wants a canned ham? And he's throwing hams into the audience.
Yeah,
and then a guy dressed as a pea with a whistle running around throwing peas.
Well, I think with the celebrity stuff with Jimmy Fallon, I think it's helped that a lot of these shows like Dancing with the Stars and stuff have come out, because people like to see celebrities and doing ridiculous stuff.
Right.
And I think that really helps. And being able to, capitalize on that. It was pretty smart.
We only got a few minutes left here. I want to get to something.
Once again, Eric gave me a whole sheet of things we're going to talk about. We never talk about
That's the beauty of
every
this show.
single time on the show. Like, you could just write anything on these pieces of paper, Eric.
Yep, they're useless.
Yeah.
I'm gonna next week. Next time you're on, I'm gonna write Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
Good. I'm gonna read it,
and then you can figure out the rest of it. I want to get into if we can scoot through some of this stuff here. For the holidays are coming up. Some people have 2 weeks off. Some people have a week off. Some people only have a handful of days.
I have 2 days.
Right.
I'm off till the end of January.
Well, that's unemployment. But if you during this time of year is pretty much now when people start to binge watch and binge read, and everything's binging now, where you go into a whole world
eating.
of catching up on stuff you didn't have time to in the previous months. Television, is there anything that you guys recommend for people out there to pop on the Netflix, get the DVDs, something like that they should watch?
Well, you go first. Go ahead.
Well, this is one that I've been telling Eric about for like a year and a half, 2 years now.
I know.
They just put it on Netflix, on the American Netflix. I'm not going to say how I watched it, but it's a show called Black Mirror, and it's a Twilight Zone on steroids, to say the least. And I think if you put on any episode of it, you can watch them in any order. They're standalone. You will be pleasantly surprised and horrified and glued to the TV all at the same time.
Well, I'm excited because we had to do it the other way.
Yeah.
Remember where you were with a certain
Tricking
app
it.
that would stream into another country.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'm watching British Netflix.
Yeah.
And you can see it there. But now I'm excited that's over here in the States, so we can watch that.
That's actually on my list of shows to catch up on. So good on you.
I think you're going to like it.
Matt, anything from you?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to throw a couple things out there. I know I've been saying it, but Arrow and Flash, if you're not watching it, you absolutely should catch up on those
That's
shows.
what I'm going to watch, because I saw the first episode of both this season, and I haven't seen anything since.
I'm going to say Constantine as well. If you're not watching it, has been excellent.
That's number one on my list. I love it. I hope so too, because
check it out.
They chopped it down from a full season to 13 episodes for now, but because it's also on Friday nights at 10 o'clock. But in this age, you can just set your DVR. It doesn't matter as long as you watch it within 3 days.
Some good news is they just moved the time slot. They just announced that the time slot it's going to Fridays at 8.
Perfect.
Which is a better time slot, which means NBC is still supporting the show, which is good. It's a positive sign that hopefully they pick it up for season 2.
Right.
And then I'm just going to say, I know some people hate it. I know some people loved it, but if you haven't checked out Serial, I'm going to say check out the Serial podcast. I think it ended really great. I was not upset with the ending.
Adrian and Lewis love this podcast. Lewis, come in here quick.
Serial's a shit.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's not about serial killers.
It is not about serial killers.
Okay.
It is about
it's probably
serialized
close.
storytelling. But I know some people hated the ending. I think
Gittles.
if you hated the ending or were surprised by the ending, it's kind of just really like you didn't know where that was going.
Gittles, when you heard about Serial being popular, did any kind of Serial/Simpsons reference pop into your head?
Oh, the Jagged Metal Crustios.
Oh, that's one of them.
Yeah.
But remember when they had there was an episode where they did Battle of the Network Stars, but it was all
with the Chocobot Hour.
yeah,
Yes.
and all the serial characters were fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our intern Lewis is in here. He interns for the Opie and Jimmy show, and he's been helping out with our show. And I want to say thank you. I really appreciate your help here. You're coming back next semester?
I am coming back next
That's great.
semester.
So you're going to
Fantastic.
be here. So if you have time, please figure in helping us out again as we move to Friday nights at 8 p.m. starting January 9th.
That's right.
Awesome.
So both Adrian and Lewis are on board with the whole Serial thing. I know it's important. I just haven't had time to do it. I have them downloaded, and that's going to be one of my binge things for the Christmas seasons. Besides food, everybody, which is the easy joke to go to. But that's definitely something I want to watch. And I told Matt this on the way into work here. On Thursday, was Thursday the day the final episode came out?
Yes.
Our own Travis from the Opie radio, Opie and Jimmy show, sent me a message asking if I could take over the board for an hour because he just wants to listen to the final hour of Serial. Awesome. And I hung up on it. So, but this thing is very popular. I mean, we saw it all over the news this week. Fox, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, everybody's covering this thing here. This is a big deal.
Can I give a quick rundown of what it is, in case people don't know? Because it's not about serial killers, like we said. It is serialized storytelling. This season focuses on an actual murder investigation. What it really highlights is how terrible the justice system is, and it's kind of like a great reality TV murder mystery drama without the campy reenactments.
Exactly.
I mean, it's really just like fact finding and going back through phone calls and witness statements, and it's some really intriguing
This is real?
interviews. It is real. It's a real
True
murder
stories.
that
Yeah.
dates back how many years? 1990 something. Yeah,
99. Yeah.
So, and without spoiling anything, as much as I could say that if you were disappointed in the ending, just
Was it
know
the
that
Seinfeld ending?
I know I don't want to spoil the ending, but I don't think that we've heard
Was it
the
the
last
crying
of this
game
story.
ending?
No, it was definitely not the crying game ending. I don't think we've heard the last bit of this story, even though there's going to be a season 2, and we don't know what the topic is going to be for season 2.
Right.
I'm sure that season 1 story will be revisited because a lot of what's going on is still active in the news right now.
Yes, Adrian.
I definitely feel like there's a shit ton more coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because this
For the same story?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Wow.
same thing. There's a lot more that we don't know.
Yeah, and there
So
have
is it-
already been updates after that last episode about things that are happening in the next couple of months. In
So
the
they
justice
left you with a
system.
cliffhanger.
A bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
When does this come back?
The woman who narrates is kind of. I can't decide if I like her or not, but
Well, she's kind of.
she teases everything. But
All right,
That's her job.
about the woman, real quick. Some people were, because I don't know too much about it, but I've heard people say, "Why is this thing so popular?"
It's a
if they haven't
spinoff
heard
of This
it?
American Life.
Thank you, because
From
that is
NPR.
that is the number one podcast on iTunes out of every category. Is that This American Life and the stuff that NPR puts out, whether you
Right.
like NPR or not, it's top of every list.
Yep.
So this spin-off, of course, is going to be popular, even if it was a piece of shit. People say this is a complete piece of shit, but everybody in the world downloaded it and listened to it. So that's why it was so amazingly popular. I can understand what Adrian's talking about because I've heard her in other projects. So she's a little grating sometimes, and sometimes she comes off a little, I'm better than you.
exactly.
Right,
That's
a
why
little
she
pompous.
pisses me off.
I don't know. It's so amateurish, but at the same time so professional. It's really. I don't know. It's really everything about the show is interesting to me.
Right.
I like how thorough she is.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
very
It's
thorough.
really good.
Bring the mic up there.
I'm
little
gonna say if you haven't given it a shot, it's 12 episodes. It's anywhere between 40 minutes and an hour and 6 minutes, 7 minutes on the long episodes. It's pretty fast. You could catch up on it in a week easily.
So I think we can all agree here that Serial is definitely a podcast that you
Yep.
may want to binge on for the holiday season, or even if you can't, your drive to work, or if you're outside doing stuff or whatever, just get a pair of those LG Bluetooth headphones.
There you go, fancy
and
schmancy.
just stream it right from your phone as you go about your day. Back to TV real quick. I also want to promote Archer. If you haven't watched Archer, all of it's, I think all of it's on Netflix.
I look forward to the return of Archer.
I believe it's all on Netflix, but Archer's coming back January 8th. I love this show. Maybe it's on demand as well for FX. Definitely a show you need to check out. Check that out. And also Scorpions, if you haven't watched that on CBS.
I hear it's very good.
It's very good.
I almost hated last season of Archer, and I'm happy.
It was
that
a
it's coming back
transitional
in the
season
way
because they
it's
got
going.
rid of everything else and they're starting new.
Pam was unwatchable last season. Her coke habit was just too over the top for me. I'm just saying.
The best part of Pam with the coke habit was that whenever the story, the dialogue just stopped and it was just a moment of silence, she'd be in the back and then she'd shove a plate of coke through her face and just start going
Yeah,
like
it
that,
was
and then it would cut
ridiculous.
to the next scene.
I still haven't finished the first season.
Oh,
You
spoiler
have to.
alert.
So that's
Pam uses coke.
and of course I'll always say Doctor Who. It's
Of
all on
course.
Netflix. You
Christmas
should check
special
that
coming up soon.
out. Movies? Any movie suggestions that you guys?
I am binge watching the Marvel Universe. Cinematic universe over the holiday season. I've
Right.
already rewatched Iron Man 1 and 2, but I plan on going all the way through Guardians over the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So.
Guardians is fair. And Guardians is one of those movies that, even if you're not into comic book movies, women love this stuff. Kids love this stuff. The whole family seems to
I've
love
seen it like 10
Guardians of the
times now,
Galaxy.
so-
It's just one of those movies that has universal appeal.
Yeah, it's funny. It's heartfelt. Groot.
I have a stack of stuff. I can't think of the movies now, but I
You
know I
didn't
have
write
a lot
them
to
down on
catch
your
up.
prep sheet?
I had them in
seriously,
my
Eric.
note, but I forgot. As you can see, the movie portion is blank because I was hoping I would remember some of them, but I didn't.
You were hoping we would get to this section. Be
yeah.
honest.
I'm also going to do video games because I haven't played video games since last year, or since I finished BioShock Infinity. So I got myself the Xbox One, and I have the Xbox 360. So I'm going to be going through Borderlands 1 and 2, South Park Stick of Truth. Seems pretty good. Sunset Overdrive on Xbox One. I'm not 100% sure what this game is, but it looks completely fucked up.
Which game?
Sunset Overdrive.
Never heard of it.
What?
Can I go back to something sad from? Can I go back to the shooting thing, or do you want to leave that by the wayside?
Is it important?
Well, it's the image of one of the things.
the gun on the Instagram there.
Yeah.
I don't really want to.
Okay,
it's available. I just don't want to promote it.
All right.
And WWE 2K15 as well. Podcast and we're a little bit over, but we'll get out here and get everything on time. I promise you. You mentioned Serial, of course. The Opie and Anthony and Opie and Jimmy podcasts,
of course,
are available, and Anthony Cumia show. You definitely want to check those as well. But Gilbert Gottfried's amazing Colossal podcast. Now I know some people can't stand his voice. But if you give it a chance, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, absolutely.
He talks to a lot of celebrities who were part of old Hollywood.
Right.
And by old Hollywood, 1960 and before that kind of stuff.
That's old.
But he gets really outrageous and dirty with all this shit. So it was really good. And Bob said, I know he's got a shit. It's not my problem.
Shit my pants, dude.
Good. Well,
you want another donut?
He shits and farts all the time. It's not my problem.
That's what you get for eating milk chocolate.
His asshole is speaking.
Do you want to take over the board there, Lewis? Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, I think he needs a board meeting.
I need a little board help.
Okay, so you're gonna have to wait a second as we wrap this up here. Check out Gilbert Gottfried's podcast; it's really good. Of course, all the regulars from this show: Bob Kelly's podcast,
Sure.
You Know What, Dude, Voss and Bonnie's,
Sure.
My Wife Hates Me, Jim Florentine's, Comedy Metal Midgets, Jay Moore's More Stories, and are we forgetting anybody else here on this? Bill Burr, Monday Morning Podcast. Is great too. If you skip over the football parts, it's really amazing.
Yes,
it's amazing.
For me, I know people love the sports talk on
his
on
sports
thing.
talk's great.
It is very well done and it is entertaining.
Yeah.
But I'm not a football guy, so sometimes I'll go through it. But I'd rather hear when he goes nuts that his house is falling apart because the contractors are charging everything he's trying to do. So that's definitely good. I think that's about it. Oh, Adrian's got a recommendation. Go
I
ahead.
would listen to The Church of What's Happening Now with Joey Diaz. He's a comedian. He's always on Rogan's podcast.
Right.
He was just in that movie that came out with De Niro and Stallone. It's a lot of fun. Joey's a really funny guy.
All right. There you go. Podcast.
And I would highly recommend How Did This Get Made?
Yes, that is good
and,
too.
The Sylvester Stallone podcast hosted by Paul Scheer.
I didn't even know that existed. So.
It's every week. It's him trying to get Sylvester Stallone in for an interview.
Paul Scheer, if you're not familiar, I'm sure he's most known from The League.
Yeah.
But he showed up on Nick Kroll's projects. He's got something
Human
else.
Giant. He was on back in the day.
I saw his Instagram. He's shooting something new now. He's got another sketch comedy.
He's got a ton of stuff going up. He's really funny. He has great podcasts.
So every week he's trying to get Sylvester Stallone on.
Yeah, he keeps getting told by various people who know Stallone that he's coming on, and you'll listen to it. It's really good. Each episode's like 5 minutes, so it's quick.
Okay. Well, I guess that wraps it up. We purposely went long because Adrian had this shit really bad, and he told me 15 minutes ago, so I'm trying to stretch this out as long as I possibly
can I plug the show I just worked on?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I just finished wrapping an episode of the show called Barmageddon. It's on True TV Wednesdays at 8.
Wait, who's the host
Wednesdays
of
at
that?
10. It's hosted by Mo Mandel.
Okay, that guy reached out to me. Apparently, he's been following me on Twitter for a while. I guess I'll have to get him on the show.
Yeah, totally. It airs in the episode I edited airs the first week in January, so check it out.
Are you done with Barmageddon?
For now.
What about that horror thing you were working on?
What, Amish Horror Story?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Is that coming out? You don't care? Okay.
Just
all right.
barns collapsing on people, butter churners going awry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our last live show, I should say, for the year 2014. We got to thank a bunch of people here. Matt, do you want to start off?
Well, first I'd like to start off by thanking Opie for coming in last week, and we had a great show. Of course, thanks again to the Masters of None for last week as well, and thanks to you, sir, for coming in and giving us all of that Jewish knowledge. It was really
I tried
important.
my best.
By giving donuts.
I would like to say thanks to you guys because I love coming on this show.
And I love having you
and
here,
thanks
man.
to Mike the Kool-Aider for being my only Twitter fan.
At Gittlebase on
Gittlebase on Twitter.
Yeah, I want to thank Opie as well, for his support and everything. And since we're moving now to Fridays at 8 p.m. starting January 9th, couldn't have done it without him. And of course, Don Wicklin as well, who's been behind the show. I appreciate that. Adrian and Lewis, who've been sort of our makeshift staff, even though they're not getting paid anything extra for it. Maybe that will change in 2015. We don't know. I'd like to get Matt paid. some point.
Nice.
But we'll see how that goes as well. Who else do we got to think? Everybody we've had on the show this week, so many celebrities. Randy and Chris at NECA Toys have been really helpful this year. You mentioned Masters of None. Oscar, Chad, and Drab, they've been really supportive with this as well. Also, Roland, Spencer, and Annabella, who handle all the talent booking and stuff for this channel and for the company, whatever, giving us some amazing guests. And I saw some of the lineup for early 2015. Looks pretty fucking cool. So, and everybody here at SiriusXM, I know it's cool to hate the company, you know, as far as the listeners go and everything, but look, they took a shot in the dark with this show, and hopefully we're making some strides and some progress. So 2015, woo, hopefully is a very good year for this program and for everybody here involved.
Can I write you a theme song, Eric?
Please do.
All right, I'm going to do it.
Are you going to do it with your hands like Weird Al used to do? That?
Yeah, no, it's going to be me and my Casio SK1 and a bass. It's going to be hilarious.
I'm excited.
All right, Geek Stuff OG on the Twitter and Instagram.
That's right.
Lewis, do you have a... I know your Twitter. Let me do a show, Adrian.
He wants to go to the shitter.
At Lewis Johnson 21 on Twitter.
And Adrian, what do you have?
At AFern212. That's AFERN212.
Cocks and dick pics, people. That's what he loves. And open gaping assholes to Adrian.
I'm about to have an open gaping asshole.
That's it. And thank you, everybody who's been listening and tweeting and calling and supporting. We do really appreciate it. And hopefully we're not as bad as we were this year next year. So, goodbye.
And that's all the time we have. Follow Erik on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Erock Radio. The show should be back next week. Maybe in 2 weeks. Who the hell knows around here anymore?
This show was brought to you by Afro and Friends.